The Congress party has now set up two key panels for the upcoming Kerala Assembly elections. The party's working committee members Ramesh Chennithala and Thiruvananthapuram MP Shashi Tharoor have been appointed chairman and the co-chairman respectively of the party's campaign committee in Kerala. Tharoor's appointment assumes significance as it comes days after he met Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge and leader of Opposition Rahul Gandhi for redressal of his grievances, after which he said all is good and we are all on the same page. And since then, Tharoor has been speaking prominently for the Congress party, has also initiated discussions in Lok Sabha on the union budget. Kharge has approved the proposal for the constitution of the campaign committee, the Manifesto committee of the Kerala Pradesh Congress Committee for the upcoming assembly elections.
Neha, Koshi, interestingly enough, Ramesh Chennithala was the person who headed the last time the campaign itself. He's been brought back into this campaign committee. And then the other interesting person who's been brought in is Shashi Tharoor, who has mostly been in the national sphere, but has been given, maybe for the first time, a very prominent role when it comes to Kerala's Congress campaigning in the state itself. So clearly, two different people with two different thoughts being brought into a panel, and looks like they are rejigging the entire Congress machinery within the state itself.
Well, Verghese, this is definitely a very, very important development. And the manner in which this announcement has come, the timing around this announcement, and the two faces that seem to be at the helm of it all, one being Ramesh Chennithala and the other being Shashi Tharoor, two very different personalities, but both have very important contributions to the party and a very strong perception around them as well. So firstly, this is Congress trying to put its house in order. Why am I saying that? Because remember, this is elections in Kerala. The challenge before Congress in Kerala is humongous. And when I say that, it was the last assembly elections where it was an absolute rout of sorts for Congress. The left got an unprecedented, historic second comeback. The revolving door policy, of how voters changed between the two parties, the two fronts, they revolved between the two fronts, came to an end, left came to a historic win. That is the background which needs to be seen. One, in how these leaders have been announced, the poll campaign committee has been announced, and the manifesto committee has been announced. The second backdrop to it is, of course, a whole lot of infighting that was developing within the Congress, not new to Congress. This is something which happens before every election, has happened in Kerala as well in the past. But this time, over the last few months, you've seen Ramesh Chennithala as well as Shashi Tharoor both concerned about how they were, quote unquote, being sidelined. There were those who were close to them, who brought this up several times in public domain. There were discourses around this, and the two had even taken this up with the High Command as well. High Command, as the Congress calls it, the High Command. So this is literally a run-up to all of that. Now let's just break this up for our viewers who may not be familiar with what's been happening in Kerala, particularly in Congress. So Ramesh Chennithala is a party loyalist. He is seen as a party loyalist. He rose up the ranks as a student leader with the KSU. He went on to hold several key positions, of course, heading the party, he was even the opposition leader. He was also at some point the deputy chief minister. So very key positions that Ramesh Chennithala has held. It was a very different way in which K. Sudhakar and V.D. Satishan were brought into the party to helm its affairs after the last assembly elections. This was seen as a way that Ramesh Chennithala and the other Congress leaders could not contain the infighting.
And moving on now, tragedy struck a TVK chief Vijay's rally once again in Salem after a 37-year-old identified as Suraj from Maharashtra collapsed after he got caught in the heavy crowd. Due to intense heat, he suddenly collapsed. He was immediately rushed to a hospital in an ambulance. However, his condition remained critical, hence was taken to another hospital for further treatment. After examination, doctors declared him brought dead. The man is survived by 2 children. Police have now launched an investigation into circumstances surrounding the incident. Earlier in the day, the entry standard operating procedures, or SOPs, were significantly tightened for TVK Chief Vijay's campaign rally meeting at Salem, followed by Karur stampede last year that resulted in death of 41 people. A strict verification of identity cards of the party members and functionaries were conducted at the venue. All right, the death of a 37-year-old man identified as Suraj from Maharashtra has put a cloud on TVK's Salem rally once again. This time, TVK Chief's rally in Salem resulted in stringent SOPs being dictated by the local police machinery, which were enforced at the entry and the exit. However, a man has now died. Reason? Initially, it appears that it was due to intense heat. The man collapsed. He was rushed to a government hospital. However, his condition remained critical, and as he was further shifted to another hospital, doctors declared him brought dead. He survived by 2 kids. Police have now launched an investigation into the incident. Remember, this follows the Karur stampede last year. It was Vijay's rally where 41 people died in Karur after TVK chief conducted a massive rally there. So this time around, a strict verification process was put in place to ensure only party members and functionaries were conducting the event and were at the venue. Nonetheless, one person has now died at the rally.